Welcome, Paul.
Thank you.
So I have a few questions I want to ask you about kind of who you are, what you do. So tell me more about NAVCO and what it does.
Sure. So NAVCO is the largest privately held security integrator in the United States. We basically have clients all over the United States that we service locations for. We do access control, alarm systems, and primarily video systems for our B2B clients.
So I know a little about the industry, but I'm ignorant on a couple levels. When you say security integrator, what does that mean exactly?
It means that we integrate facilities access control with their CCTV or their alarm system with their access control, et cetera.
Okay, so when I was looking over the information about your company, and it was really intriguing stuff, and I saw 2 KPIs that it almost made me want to go, whoa, is that even true? I mean, it was like so dramatically big. I mean, one of them was this was the number, 95% first fix rate, which is amazing to me. And then the second one was that you had managed to somehow increase the technicians' visits per day from 3 to 5 sites. So can you take them individually and explain at every level how you even got there? Because those numbers are pretty staggering.
Yeah, so our 95% first-time fix rate is a real KPI that we measure every single month as a company. And we measure it nationwide and locally down to the local offices to make sure that we are actually hitting those numbers, because what those numbers tell us is, do we have the right parts? Do we have the right skills? As far as the guy going to the location,
okay.
And making sure that we're getting it fixed the first time. So it's very, very important to us to measure that KPI. I think last month we actually achieved 97.6.
Really?
Yes. So we're doing a great job by using Microsoft CRM Field Services and being able to make sure that we have those skills that are assigned to the right people and the right parts that are on the trucks, and making sure that those guys are getting it done. So yes, we did increase our second KPI. We were able to increase our number of calls per day. And the reason we were able to do this is because we use the automated routing engine with CRM Field Services. And that automated routing engine then really takes our SLAs for our clients into consideration. And it was real important for us to make sure that we were hitting those SLAs for those clients, because they're part of our contracts typically with those clients. So by using the automated routing engine, we were able to increase the number of calls that a tech could actually get to in a specific day. Okay,
so I have questions about each of those. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the 97.6% first-time fix rate. I mean, if you ever hit 100, I really would like to hear this. I swear, I promise you this. If you hit 100 any month, you get a hold of me, I'll write something about it somewhere, and it's one of my blogs or someplace, because that's even what you're doing is staggering now.
You bet.
Okay, so here's my question. You said at one point when you were describing what it takes, you said the right technicians, right? Who's the right technician? So how do you determine that? I mean, what's the process that says, okay, the right parts are the right parts? You know,
right.
If you figure that out, that's hardware of some kind. But how do you determine the right technician?
By using the skill sets that are available through the field services that's in CRM. You basically can assign a skill set of anything you want. You can make up any skill you like. You can assign it to that specific technician. So if he has a specific certification on a specific piece of equipment, then when the routing engine runs, it takes that into consideration and only can give it to that technician that has that skill.
So is it actually in effect saying, okay, given who's available, given what the skill sets are, given the geography they're in, given XYZ, these 2 or 3 people are your best bet? And was it saying this one is the best bet over the second and the third?
Correct.
Wow.
Correct.
That's pretty sophisticated.
There's a lot of logic in the automated routing engine that goes into play with this, such as work hours, skill sets, SLAs. So if you're in the middle of your day and you have an SLA that's a 4-hour response time, the routing engine automatically looks at it and says, hey, I got to schedule this call next, and it'll move the other call out of the way.
Okay, wow. Okay, so let's go to the second one now, from the 3 to 5 visit increase, which is what, 40% increase, which is pretty substantial. Well, no, more than that, 65% increase, which is really substantial. All right, so you have those 2 more visits, which also I assume means you have more activity going on your systems, because there's 2 more visits, right, that they have to do in a day. And then, now, when you're looking at that increase, well, actually, let me back up. given that increase, so what were the things that went into allowing the increase to occur? You talked about the automatic routing engine and the scheduling, obviously. So what are the factors you take into account that say, okay, well, given that, this goes from 3 to 5 because of this, and this. What are this, and this?
Well, really, it's all about how you set up your incident types within CRM.
Okay.
And so those incident types have a time associated value with it. So in the past, we were sort of like dispatch it, forget it, let the tech manage the day. And then obviously 3 years ago when we started with Microsoft Dynamics Field Services, we were able to actually take that data and condense it down to saying, we know that this specific service call is only going to take X amount of time. So it really helped us to define the call time. So you have your travel time plus your call time. And we knew that the technicians could get in and out in a specific time format.
Okay, so let's look ahead a little bit now, okay? So, we see IoT is out there now. We see business models are changing. I know that you've been looking at changing your business models, and I know you've done a lot of predictive stuff. I mean, so how do you see IoT changing your field service business model? How is there any participation? Oh, well, you just tell me.
Sure. So we're underway with exploring IoT and we're excited about the predictive nature of the data that we can gather from IoT. Our clients are doing less with more, and so with IoT, we can see specific revenue models that are available to us to help those clients so that they don't have to manage on a day-to-day basis, and we can automatically dispatch technicians.
What about the field service technology side of this thing? And I know one of the reasons we're all sitting here is Microsoft's come out with a new release, and they're starting to deal with some of that. How do you utilize some of that in your new model?
Well, in our new model, we're real excited about the opportunity because to have another instance up in the cloud, in Azure cloud, where a lot of our clients have their own ticketing system for dispatching service calls. And so what we're going to be doing next is we're going to be creating another instance where we are reading the email out of the Office 365 and we're converting them directly to work order.
Okay. So Paul, I really like your name, by the way. Paul, I know you've been thinking a lot, and you guys are actually becoming thought leaders in the idea of connecting IoT to field service, which changes your business model and probably even your revenue models. How are you doing that? Can you elaborate a bit on that?
Sure. So we're currently working with Microsoft today, analyzing some data from specific vendors of ours to be able to take a cloud-hosted video system and then be able to gather that data from the systems that are scattered all throughout the United States, and being able to predictively analyze such things as hard drive failures. So a hard drive has a mean failure rate of 2 years in an 80-degree temperature room, et cetera. So being able to analyze that data so that we can predictively go out and replace those hard drives and those systems so that our clients are not down.
Wow, so that would ruin your first fix rate. You know why? Because you wouldn't have to fix anything.
That's right. Exactly.
That's amazing. So tell me, how does that impact your growth and expansion as a company too? Because that's really fascinating what you're talking about.
Well, we really do see a revenue model with IoT, and I think our clients will recognize it as well once we show them what they're going to get for it. And being able to take in our world, it's a loss prevention department who is already, busy as they can be. They're understaffed, and they don't want to have to go in and research video systems and access control and alarm systems to call those service calls in. But for us to be able to proactively be able to tell them, hey, we're going to go to your location and we're going to fix something you didn't know was broken.
That's amazing. I'm utterly fascinated by the way the world is going. And you know what? Honestly, until you just explained it, I would not have thought that was possible in your particular industry the way you just described it. I mean, to me, it positions you as a leader in the industry if and when you decide you're going to make this foundational. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's very exciting for us.
One more question. Tell me a good story about your company.
Oh, a good story. Well, I was recently about a month ago with a client, and the client, we were sitting in the annual business review with them, and the client said to us, they said, we know that you're more expensive, but you make it easier to do business with you.
And why did they say that?
Because we can provide the data points that they were looking for instantly.
Wow.
They come back to us, we did a planned rollout of service calls for them over a year period, and they say, I don't understand how you guys can provide us this data and the competition that's doing the other 3,000 service calls cannot.
Was this like predictive data, or I mean,
No, just-
data used for predictive purposes?
No, this was strictly data points they wanted gathered,
Wow.
and we were able to gather it and make it required.
Wow, that's fascinating. So, okay, so take that story and just generalize it for 1 second, and to the world of field service and connectivity and connectedness, and tell me more about how you would then take that model and expand it to your future operations.
Well, expanding it into our future operations really comes with the portals.
Okay.
Our portals are going to be key for us. Anything we can do to gain an efficiency in our systems is why we do it today. So we really have gained huge efficiencies by launching Microsoft Dynamics CRM. And now we're going to extend that to the customer portals, where the clients will be able to not only see their service and their installation schedules, but they'll be opening service calls directly to work order for us.
Wow. Well, thank you, sir. That was rather awesome, and thank you very much.